Oh, hello, hello, and I'm back live again. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today on another fabulous Tuesday here in March as we are celebrating actually National Quilting Month. So isn't that wonderful? The more excuses to get into our sewing rooms, even though it is slowly getting better weather out there. But let's get back into our sewing rooms and continue to share the Janome love to make some new projects for spring. It's absolutely wonderful, as always. I'm just double checking that, yes, I need to switch off my phone to make sure no one disturbs me while I'm here doing live from Janome Sewing Machine's Facebook page, Janome Canada Facebook page, Janome America's YouTube channel, and our Janome Canada, Janome HQ YouTube. My name is Michael Smith, the National Education Manager of Janome Canada, and I'm very happy to be back here live from my palatial estate in Collingwood, Ontario, Canada. I'm about 2 hours north of Toronto. And I've got another fun project to share with you all today. How about this for spring or summer or ultimately any occasion? Again, with the nicer weather like on the horizon, I was thinking, I can't wait to get outside again, do a lot of cleanup over winter. But again, let's look forward to spring or summer. How about this cute little table runner? This could be even a bed runner if it's a little bigger. It could be like a dresser scarf on the top of the dresser, or again, specifically, I made this for my table outside. It's a cute little barbecue themed with the little, flipper there and the hot dogs, the little old hibachis there, more hot dogs, the mustard and ketchup. Very beautiful, with beautiful star fabric on the back and binding. And oh yes, can you see those beautiful miters done on my quilt binder attachment? You can bind this any way that you wish. Do your traditional French fold or whatever kind of binding, or the pillowcase method where you're flipping it right side out with a seam in the middle, a hole in the middle to flip it right side out. There's so many ways you can finish it, but this cute little Quilt As You Go table runner. Again, everything, you'll see the dimension maybe in the back, but again, not a lot of quilting. Now, we could go one step further and, of course, embellish this with decorative stitches built into our machine. It could be a lot like a crazy quilt where we embellish it with decorative stitches, beautiful thread. I just kept it nice and simple. So where did I get this? You are probably asking, because, again, it was such a fun project. And something where we could change the fabric. It's great for different seasons, different holidays. And where I got that, as always, let me flip around my camera. There we go. Now today, again, I'm sewing on my fabulous Skyline S7 AE Anniversary Edition. We have a lot of lucky offers promotion going on here in Canada as well as in America. So double check with your Janome dealer. Look at my beautiful fabrics. Aren't they so cute? Barbecue themed, or again, choose Christmas, choose Easter, whatever you wish. Where did I find the pattern from that table runner? Now, sure, we could easily draft one ourselves, but again, why bother? We go to our Janome Life blog, type that in your browser, and in the search box here to the right, you're going to type in Quilt As You Go table runner. And that's the cool thing about this technique, that we're quilting as we are constructing it. So it's nice and fast and easy. So you type in your search box, Quilt As You Go table runner, and then boom, it was from October 24th of 2020. So a number of years ago. We were in the height of COVID then. And again, everybody was staying inside and sewing. So great. Here was a project that our Janome Canada educator Monique had created on the Janome Life blog. She's got the materials list, everything you need, step-by-step instructions. Now, we're used to going to the Inspire tab on janome.ca and janome.com, but also here on our Janome Life blog, we have lots of projects, lots of things to keep you sewing. And again, step by step by step instructions. Now, there is no PDF, no Windows-based instructions. They're all just there on the blog. But what I did, I like paper instructions myself. So what I did is at the end of the article here, I just right-clicked with my mouse. You see how everything is turning blue? And then I just scroll up the page. I'm going to copy everything. So I copy everything, right-click everything, copy it. And then I open a Word document. For me, I'm on a PC. So I open a Word document, a blank Word document. And then, ooh, I don't want to be tethered. And then I just open a blank Word document and then I just paste it in. So I've created my own document here very simply. Now, again, we can read all the instructions in the blog, but again, I personally just chose to print this out. Very simple. But again, Monique goes through all the requirements. This is a great project to use all your batting. In fact, we need about a 20-inch wide by 45-inch long piece of batting. If you'd like it longer, fine. You can make this as big and as small as you wish. Again, maybe you can see my seam here. This is a great time to, just with a regular zigzag stitch on my machine, I just pieced together some batting. So great time to use your leftover batting. But again, suggested, can I get this all out? Suggested 20 inches wide. Mine's a little bigger because I'm going to make, again, these get so addictive. I'm going to make a slightly bigger one now, but Monique's generally, to start, her general instructions, 20 inches wide by 45-inch long. So about the width of, regular fabric. But again, you can make this however big you want. So instruction number 1 for your batting, you'll see I've got these X's here that we divided in half lengthwise and divide it in half widthwise. So we get this cross. Now, to make it a little easier, I have just a little sample here, just to make it, I don't have a big enough table for everything. So here is my batting, whatever size you want to make. Again, this would make a great little, coaster, or again, a trivet instead of just regular batting. I could add that thermo batting to make it more heat resistant. So we could make this however big we want. It would be great to set a plant on top of this, for an occasional table. So whatever size that you want. Again, in general, 20 by 45, and then make an X down the middle one way and down the middle the next way. Backing fabric, you need at least 20 inches wide by, again, 45 inches. So about, again, the regular thickness of most standard quilting cotton. Monique recommended a busy backing, as you see here with all these stars. And why? Because we're going to be stitching this quilt as you go technique. We're going to be stitching through all layers. So by having a busy backing, again, maybe you'll see the dimension of it, but you won't necessarily see, all my starts and stops, because we're sewing and then stopping and flipping and doing a little bit, bigger piecing. So again, we're not going to get hung up on, there, my stitching line is a little bit longer and it just ends, and that's fine. I did a little lock stitch there to secure it, but again, a busier backing. If we were to do decorative stitches as well, they would hide more easily on the back, and then on the front we would see the decorative stitches. So a busy backing is recommended, again, 20 by 45 or whatever the size of your table runner is. And then your fabrics, this is where you can have so much fun. I saw this collection again with that ketchup and mustard and the 2 types of the old-fashioned barbecue, the hot dogs. I just fell in love with it. I thought, what a great thing for my table outside when we barbecue. And again, any kind of holiday themed fabric, whichever, great gift idea. So we need 5 strips. fabric, and they're just cut the width of the fabric, again, 45-inch wide. Here is the fold here, and then there's my selvage. So you cut your strip 45-inch wide fabric, 2.5-inch. Great use for your leftover jelly roll strips, or maybe you're making this with a new jelly roll, so they're already coordinated. But you just need 5 strips, 5 2.5-inch wide strips by the width of the fabric, 5 strips in whatever kind of coordinating prints that you would like. So I did, again, my barbecue fabric, so that was cute. From each of these 5 strips, we're going to cut a 9-inch rectangle, again, 2.5-inch wide, so a 9-inch rectangle, and then an 11-inch rectangle. And then you end up with a little chunk left over, which of course I would save for another project. You'll use it one day. So we've got from each of those strips, we're cutting 2 because the fabric is folded. So you'll have 2 9-inch rectangles and 2 11-inch rectangles. And then Monique suggests you cut 3 2.5-inch wide strips for your binding, whatever one of those strips, or I used my backing fabric as my binding. So you choose whatever you wish. Then you need, it could be one of your 5 fabrics, or I chose to use this additional fabric, so I have 6 prints in total, an 8.5-inch square for the center, and you only need one of those. So, fat quarter would do great, or maybe you want to piece together some of your 2.5-inch strips. That would be a fun embellishment. Fun, different thing. Again, that's why I love showing these Inspire tab projects and these Janome Life blog projects. They're a good jumping off point for you to do whatever you want. You customize it however you want. So here is my backing down on my fabric. In my case, it's a little bigger. My backing's a little bigger than my batting. And then I have, again, drawn on the vertical center and horizontal center. And then this 8.5-inch square, you'll see I'm putting on the 4 corners, and I'm lining up this corner with this vertical line, and then this corner with this horizontal line. And same thing, so the corners are all lined up. Now you could use, and even for your backing here and your batting, you could use spray-based to hold it together. You could pin it together, whatever you wish to hold it down, all layers together. And it's really fun and really simple. So you choose whatever order you want to put your fabrics in. But you start in this lower left corner, and you're going to line up this 9-inch strip with this corner. You're always going to follow these horizontal lines as your reference guide, because what we're going to do, and the cool thing about Quilt As You Go, is it's basically we're going to sew 1/4 inch down here. Now, yes, my 9-inch piece is bigger than my 8.5-inch square, but that's fine. We're not going to worry about it because it's going to get cut off later. So we can sew all the way down. And again, you can sew all the way to the end of your 9-inch strip. It's fine. And then we're going to flip this back over like that. And then we're going to add on our 11-inch piece, and again matching the lower corner, and then it too it's bigger than our square, and that's fine. And then we'll sew and flip this out, and when we flip it out, do you see that corner is going to match up to, or pretty close? I mean, it's a forgiving table runner, but the goal is to try to match this strip with that horizontal line every time. So let's get in here. As usual, time will go by so quickly. Now here on my Skyline S7 AE, one thing I loved about, at least in Canada, the Skyline anniversary machines come with the beautiful big extension table here. I'm not sure about other parts of the world, if they included the extension table or not, but it does come included here in Canada. So again, this is the way my table runner was. This is my lower left corner. So if it's easier for you, in Monique's instructions, she has these 4 corners all numbered. I just will put a little number 1 down in my corner so I know that's my starting corner. Once you get started in this, it is so fun. It is so freeing. So here is my lower left corner. This is how I'm going to start, and I'm going to line up this 9-inch strip with my 8.5-inch center block. And again, I've lined up this edge. My 2 fabrics are lined up here. It's going off here to the lower right. The strip is bigger, and that's fine. I don't care. So that's all lined up beautifully. Now here on many of our machines, come with so many different presser feed options. Here on my Skyline S7 AE, I'm using the O foot, 1/4 of an inch foot with no guide. Now the O foot with the guide comes included with the machine, but available from your fabulous Janome dealer. You can always get this foot individually, the O foot with no guide individually, or for the Skyline S7 Anniversary Edition, we have the Skyline Anniversary Edition, Skyline S7 Anniversary Edition Advanced Accessory Kit. And oh, look, it comes with the fabulous HP foot, that perfect little 1/4 of an inch foot. We could use that foot, and the HP needle plate stands for high performance. We could use that now. Or there, I'm using that O foot with no guide. So this advanced accessory kit comes available for the Skyline S7 AE with a variety of different presser feet. And one being that the O foot with no guide. So in this case, I find it a little easier. The guide's not going to run along the batting. So I'm just going to line up the edge of my strip with the edge of my foot. And let's go into our machine, into our quilting and decorative stitches in our quilting category. I love the machine doing some thinking for us. It's my 1/4 of an inch piecing stitch is what that P stands for. And you'll see my needle is automatically moved over to 8.3, moved it to the right, and then I have a 1.8 stitch length. So it's a shorter stitch length. So we don't have to worry about lock stitching or back stitching. The stitching is certainly not coming out. And with this Quilt As You Go technique, again, you don't have to worry about locking all of your seams in the beginning. Just go ahead. You don't have to be that particular in, again, securing all the start and stop of the seam. You could if you wanted to, but that's why, again, Monique suggested use a fabric that's a busy backing, so then you can't see all these little starts and stops. So here I'm at the end of my strip. Now, for convenience, we do have the thread cutter button here, so I can cut my threads. Now, on the back of my project, I'm going to be left with these little tails. So that's the only thing about using the thread cutter. Now, these personally, I will go back later and cut off those thread tails because those annoy me. But it's okay. Again, this seam, again, I just started it. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. We always have that little tail of thread. We can just cut that off, no problem. By the time we finish this table runner, again, nothing is going to come apart. And when we flip this back over, you'll see there my seams, my fabric was a little bigger than this underpiece, but then it's lined up pretty much here. That's the main goal. Keep it as lined up here as you can. If it extends a little bit, as mine does, that's totally fine. So there, we just flip it over. Now, we could take this to the iron, but we really don't need to. That's the fun thing, too. We can do it all at our sewing machine. So again, if it's easier, once you get started on this, if it's easier to work in your brain, reorient your fabric down to, again, my lower left corner was this number 1. I just sewed on this strip. Now I'm going to add the upper left, the top left. So I'm going to align this piece of fabric with the edge of my 8.5-inch center square. And it's totally fine. Again, in this case, my lower strip here sticks out a little bit. Well, that's fine. That's no big deal. I'm just lining up the edge of my new strip with this 8.5-inch here as well. Again, if you take a little more time, you can be a little more accurate, but you really don't need to be. It's a very forgiving project. It's really fun. So then, yes, let's quickly, because time is my enemy. Again, I'd love to sit and sew this whole thing with you. Now, as we're sewing along, and if you find, oh, my fabric's creeping a little bit, and oh, depending on the thickness, I just am using 80-20 batting that has 80% cotton and 20% polyester. If you find, oh, I've got a really fluffy batting and, you know, my layers are shifting, depending, some of our machines have a dial up here to lighten the pressure foot pressure. They have a dial sometimes up here. Here in our beautiful LCD screen, again, why do we pay more for these machines? Well, we can do so much customizing very easily. So let's touch this adjust key, and now I can expose, oh, here I have the auto presser foot pressure, and it shows a little arrow down. If I want to increase the pressure, make more pressure on my fabric, I would increase. But in this case, oh no, I want to decrease it. I want to minus it. I don't want as much pressure down on my fabric. It'll just make quilting through all these layers easier. Now, since I'm just, and we just experiment, I'll go down to -3. I think for mine, I just did -2, but that's fine. And then we close the adjust key and away we go. And it'll just be easier to feed through. Now, since we're doing straight lines, we could use, if our machine has the fabulous AccuFeed Flex, and we could turn on our AccuFeed to our machine and use our even feed or our dual feed foot, or again, our AccuFeed foot, if we have that capability. Using that with those upper set of feed teeth will definitely help, again, feed through all of our layers. I'm not using that because, again, this project could be done with any machine. So, again, even without your even feed foot, your AccuFeed Flex foot, you can still do this. This batting I'm using is not that thick, so I still did it no problem. But lightening the presser foot pressure, that's quite a tongue twister. Lightening the presser foot pressure will definitely help. And again, I've reoriented my fabric down to 1 was my lower left, and boom, like, look how beautiful that is. Nice. And you see, by lessening the pressure, no puckering, it came out beautifully. My strip's a little long, no big deal. But the main thing is, you see here, these are matched. And then you see this corner right there, right along that line, or pretty close to it. If you're off a little bit, it's not going to matter that much. Again, just press. You can get a little wooden iron and you can press right here in person. Again, use your finger, use your nail. If you want to take this to the press, you know, to the iron there, like, that's perfect. Ideally, that's what you want, that strip to land right along with that line. So again, now I've done one side. And again, I'm not going to have time to do this whole runner for you, but it's so fun. You know I'm going to finish this off air. So now I started in my lower left corner. Now I'm going to go up to my upper right. So I start in lower left, then I go opposite upper right. And again, I don't worry about what's happening here. I'm just going to line this strip up. Again, along this horizontal line is where the corner of our square should be, along that horizontal line. We're pretty close to it. And again, this is what I'm lining up my strips here, butted them together along this edge, and then And again, I don't worry about what's happening over here because we're going to trim this all off. So once we get down this side, and then just cut. And again, just fold over, boom, beautiful. And then I take my other 11-inch strip, and then this is where, again, I'm going to butt it to this end. Keep it aligned with my 8-inch across here. And make sure that's all the way out. It's a really fun, fast, easy project. This would be a great gift, or if you're doing like some kind of fundraiser, church bazaar kind of thing. It's a really fun project. And again, it doesn't have to be that accurate. I always try to get it as accurate as I can, but at the end of the day, it's a really fun, rather beginner project. So don't get too hung up on if it's absolutely perfect. Yes, we want to try to refine our 1/4 of an inch seam, and hopefully you were with me last week, and I did some demos on about how to refine our 1/4 of an inch seam, how to get it a little more accurate, and then cut that off. But again, if your seam allowance isn't exactly a 1/4 of an inch, that's fine. There, and then we fold this all out, and then again, is my strip. We fold it all the way out. It's pretty close. In this case, it's off just a speck, but I don't care. That's fine. The main thing is this is all flat. Now, again, we reorient our fabric. There was number 1 in the bottom left, and let's take whatever fabric you want. Here's my 9-inch strip. And again, I'm not worried what's happening down here. I'm just focused up here. I'm going to butt this strip on like this. Again, very quickly. Oh, but you can really get this done quite quick. Like you could totally get this done if you've got the fabric already at home. You could get this done today. But also, you know, double check with your Janome dealer what beautiful fabrics they have. So fold this out, and then again, let's get that 11-inch strip here lined up. So this quilt as you go technique is, again, really, really fun. We're sewing and quilting through all layers all at the same time. And again, you can switch this up for any holiday, any decor. And yes, if you end up going over your seam here, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Again, that's why your busy backing will help. So again, fold over your strip. And then when I have it oriented, again, with 1 down in my lower edge. Now, in this case, again, my sample is, my batting is so small. But again, this corner is along this horizontal line. So I would just keep going. So I added this strip, again, lower left, and then go around, and then we go to the opposite, upper right. I would add my red strip here, and then add my 11-inch strip here. Then I would do strip number 3 here, 9 inches, strip number 3, 11 inches here, strip number 3, 11 or 9-inch here, and then strip number 3, 11-inch here. So you're constantly going around and then around. And little by little by little, again, you keep building. Ooh, you keep building. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, when it comes to here, where are you going to trim this all off? You may be wondering. So, and again, you just follow Monique's instructions in the blog post, but you will, oh, where is my ruler? Oh, geez. Where is my ruler? Oh, I forgot to bring my ruler. You're going to trim these off. So you have your seam included, but then all of these little jagged bits are going to be cut off. So one moment. There, I totally forgot my ruler. Definitely that's needed. I had to untether my microphone. So yes, then when we're going to trim this off, again, we want to make sure that we include, our seam there. But you see here on my ruler, I have a line where it's, there we go, 1/2 inch up here, this line 1/2 inch. So I could use that then as a guide. And then I would have my ruler, my big long, 45-inch wide ruler or a 24-inch wide ruler. And then I would trim. So all of these little bits come off. The main thing is right at that seam. If I line this up 1/2 inch, I'm cutting right along at that strip. So then I would trim all along so it ends up a nice straight edge. So that's where it doesn't matter what's happening here. Again, at the end of the day, it would look like that when it's all trimmed off. And then you go around and you finish however you wish. Again, I used my quilt binder attachment. So you can see mine in this case, I did mine 1 inch from that intersection right there. I measured 1 inch and then I cut all of my strips. Everything was caught in because I knew my quilt binder would be 1/2 inch wide, my strip. That's why I cut mine so big. You cut it however you wish. And again, Monique does have instructions in the... So there, she shows you right there. I mean, this is beautiful. This is all on Janome Life blog. It's free. So there she shows her too, about 1/2 inch right at that corner. So all of these other little strips get cut off. So then that's what hers ended up. And then, of course, if you really want to go to town, again, all those beautiful decorative stitches that are built into your machine, once you add each of your rows on, in this case, after I do this row, for example, I could then go back in and do a square of whatever kind of decorative stitch I wanted. Then I would do, this strip and do another decorative stitch. You could do different alternating decorative stitches. The whole square doesn't have to be the same decorative stitch. You could have so much fun. There's just no end. Time is your only limitation. And as always, my time is racing out. So you must go to the Janome Life blog to see your fabulous Quilt As You Go table runner. So you type that into the Janome Life blog, Quilt As You Go table runner. It is so fast and so easy. It's so fun. And again, we don't worry about, those little bits, other than when I use the automatic scissor button, then I cut those little strings off. But everything else, it's fine. Again, it's a busy backing. You don't even see it. But again, what a cute already. It's going to be so cute, fast and easy to do any time of year. So thank you, wonderful everyone, for joining me today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow, because then when I talked about joining your batting together, and even on this table runner, so many of our machines use all these wonderful decorative stitches. They have all these decorative stitches built into our machines, but even our good old plain utility stitches, there is so much we can do with them. So I hope you join me tomorrow as we go through our utility stitches, which are also built into every Janome machine there. So thank you everyone for joining me. Have a fabulous day. Bye.